Hey guys, Wilson from On the Mewve here. Kelly is behind the camera back there. And this week we've got to address a big problem. So you might notice that our window doesn't look exactly like it goes together here. Something's wrong. So we were going down the road, traveling towards the Myrtle Beach area not too long ago, and I happened to look out of the corner of my eye, saw a kid with a BB gun, didn't think anything of it, went on down the road, and we stopped a little ways later, and this window was shattered. Couldn't believe it. Came out here, saw exactly where the pellet had hit it, and just shattered the whole bottom part of the window. So after I got over my little bit of anger there, maybe a little bit extra, of the mischief of the teenager, I decided, okay, I got to replace this. What can I do? Well, first thing, we were already traveling, so we stopped by. We got some temporary tape here. We taped it up as best as we can, and it held up pretty good. Not great for traveling. We've done a couple of trips with that on there, but it did okay. So we had to order it. I called Coachman after calling around to a couple RV places with no help, and Coachman was awesome. They said, we'll order that window for you, probably take about 3 or 4 weeks. Well, about 2.5 weeks later, our new window has shown up, and I'm ready to do an install. So as a temporary fix, on the outside I used some flex tape, and that stuff's not real cheap, but I figured it would hold up pretty well. And on the inside, I took a piece of cardboard and a little duct tape, and we just kind of made that short up a little bit until we could do something with it. So temporary fix, pretty good. It's not a long-term fix by any means, but it held up for a while. Now what I've got to do is I'm going to have to disassemble a few parts here. Where the curtain is, the blinds are up here. I'm going to have to take all that out so I can undo the window. So as I'm uninstalling here, I'm just going to pull this curtain kind of out of the way at the top, the valance. And this curtain is actually going to get removed. There are 2 brackets. This bracket here, a couple screws back there. I'm going to take those out and just go ahead and completely remove this bracket so it's out of the way. The last thing I'll have to do to get to the window is to remove the blinds here, and there's just 2 screws, one on each end of the blinds, that hold it into place into the wall. So the design of this window is pretty easy to repair because it's simply a clamshell window. We have our screws on the inside. We're just going to undo these screws, and then the whole window is going to come out. There's a gasket in between, and we're going to use a little bit of silicone whenever we put it back into place with the new window, but this should be pretty easy. These just unscrew. It separates from the outside shell, and then we'll reinstall the new window and then screw this back together, and it should be a quick fix. Alright, so we've done all our pre-work that we can in the camper. We've undone all the drapes. We've unscrewed all the brackets that hold those in place. And so my next step is I'm going to unpackage, make sure I have everything here. This window was shipped directly from Lippert. So even though I ordered it through Coachman, they went through Lippert, gave them the model number, the serial number of the camper, and then they sent me, hopefully, the correct window. So Lippert packaged this thing really, really well. I was a little bit worried about the glass as it's coming from the factory, but you can see that they sprayed foam into the package. Foam's on the back side. It kind of holds it in place in the cardboard, and it's really well taken care of. So thank you, Lippert. Second interaction with Lippert in the last couple of months, and it's been such a positive interaction. So let's get started on installing this window. That's awesome. Got my name on it and everything. Custom name on the inside of the window. So
yeah,
this was made for us.
Yay.
All right, so we've got all our drapery out of the way. Everything's nice and clean so we can work with our surface. This is at least a 2-person job though, because you're gonna need somebody to hold the outside. So my cameraman, which is my father-in-law, is gonna be doing that here in just a minute. So we're just gonna start unscrewing a few of these here and getting this thing loose. This should be a clamshell type window, so the outside is pulled in with the screws that you use on the inside. The window that I received is just the outside part, so we'll reuse this inside part. All right, now we finished unscrewing all of these screws, and this window is gonna be a 2-part window. So you see the clamshell, it just kind of separates. And you just remove it from the actual window. So now the window is simply held in by the seal and probably a little silicone on the outside. So we're going to be real careful. We're going to go outside, remove the window, try not to break the rest of the glass like the BB did to the bottom part. So now we're on the outside and we're going to have to push this from the inside. So I've got my helper in there. He's going to push on the window and try to get this to come out. All right, so after a little bit of kind of easing on it, we tried to figure out, okay, how can we get this out? And the seal is actually pretty good on this thing. The seal's holding it in place. And so what we had to do was get a pry bar, and we had to kind of slide in between. Be careful, you don't want to damage any wood. And so we just tapped on this, and you can kind of see the light that's coming through right now. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to hold the window in place, and we're going to finish tapping out along the top. And once we do that, we should be able to remove the window completely. There it goes, there it goes. Almost. Whoa.
There it is.
There it is.
Bottom probably still attached. Can you pop it out?
I should be able to.
Yeah, there's really no seal here.
Alright, so it was pretty easy to remove the window once we got it tapped out along the top. We'll just kind of clean up this frame a little bit, make sure there's no junk in the way. And then we're going to install a new seal on our new window and then screw it back into place. Alright, so one more step here. You're going to need to replace the seal. The new window does not come with a seal. The old window has a seal on it, but it's already stuck to it. So what I did is I bought some 1/8 inch seal here. This is a 1/4 inch wide, maybe 3/8 inch wide. And we're going to run this seal right along the edge of this window all the way around. I'm going to use just a little bit of caulking as well, just to make sure that we have a good seal back on this window. So we're going to install this seal around the window, and we're going to start at the bottom of the window right in the middle so we can make one nice seam and there shouldn't be any gaps. Alright, so we've completed our seal all the way around the window. We started at the bottom with the seal, ran it all the way around, real nice and careful. We have no tears in here, and the seal goes all the way around. It's just a thin 1/8 inch seal. Now we're ready to put this window into place.
You're gonna break it when you put it in.
I know, right?
Ooh. Glad it's Wilson, not me.
Is it in the right place?
Like you're on
Okay,
here.
you recording?
Yep.
Please come over to me. There you go. Right in.
Alright, you got it?
Got it. You know what?
This is my job. Making sure it doesn't fall out.
So our next step is to drill holes all the way around this window. They do not come pre-drilled, and you need to make sure you save this inside clamshell part, as this is going to be your guide. You just kind of have to line this up. Make sure that you drill not into the cavity that's on the inside, but there's a little tiny piece of channel that you'll drill into for all of your screw holes. So our next step is to go ahead and put these screws in place, tighten the window up. We don't want to tighten them all the way at first. We're going to leave them just a little bit loose and then tighten them all down at the same time. Alright, so we've got everything put back together. We've got all of our screws lined up. We've got them torqued down. Be careful when you torque them down. You don't want to strip any of those screws. So just go slow, go one at a time, and you might want to space them out so you keep your spacing nice and even here. We've pulled in the window real tight. Want to make sure that it's waterproof, and you do that by pulling this window in by screwing these screws into that clamshell and the frame. So next we're going to install our knob, which is going to rotate our window, bottom window out. And so real easy.
Hold on.
Alright, so one difference in this window is our knob to open the window is actually on the reverse side on the new one. So not a big deal to me. We do use that window a little bit, but just make sure that you're aware that the knob's going to be on the opposite side. You also need to save this knob from your old window, because the new window just comes as the window itself and the exterior frame. Save all of your screws, save your clamshell. You're going to use all of that in reinstalling the new window. Now, the new window does come with a new screen, so you don't have to worry about saving your old screen. And these are real easy. They just snap into place. These are real easy. These are real easy. They just snap into place. You'll hear a little snap. And a little snap. And there it goes. Next, we've got to reassemble all of our blinds and our curtains. So we'll put those back into place just like we took them down before we took the old window out. These blinds just go right back into place. Going to use your same guide holes that we used earlier. Do want to be careful and not strip these as best as possible. Just going to put that one in a little hand tight, and then we'll put our other one in on the other end. Alright, so we've got our top reattached. Now we're going to put in our tension screws here. This is what allows the window, their blinds, to stay up whenever you raise them. So we're going to nice and easy put this back into place. We don't want to strip anything. After you get both of these tensioners tight, it'll actually put a lot of pressure here, and now this is what gives you the tension for the blind staying up midway or going back down. Alright, so we're going to reattach our curtains, our little faux curtains that are so stylish in the camper. I don't want to switch them all out. I don't know. You can if you want. So we're going to reattach. It just screws into place. We have two screws. They go into this bracket and they'll go in like this. It gives it a little bit of tension and holds it in place. Alright, here's a little tip for you. Go ahead and set that bottom screw in place, and that's going to help you to align your bracket, and then I can screw my top screw into place. It makes it just a little bit easier because this is kind of an awkward place to get to. All right, so we wrapped up our window install here. We've got our curtains back, we've got our blinds back, everything is back to normal. This is a pretty easy install. If you have some basic skills, you could do this. It just takes a little bit of manpower to push, or woman power, don't want to leave that out, to push that window out. That seal has it nice and tight up against the frame or against the side of the slide. And so once we got it out, we just have to put our clamshell piece back on the inside, and then we line it up and drill our holes, and then we put our screws into place, tighten all of those screws down so you make sure you don't have any water leaks. And it's, again, real important that you put a seal on the outside of that window. It goes right up against the fiberglass, between the frame of the window and the fiberglass. So we reinstalled everything, and now everything looks great.